Just moments away from the opening pitch, but about 12 minutes and counting into the standoff between Scott Van Slyke of the Dodgers and Joe Kelly of the Cardinals, both remaining in their positions from the national anthem, having a major standoff to see who will break first. I talked to Don Mattingly to see if the two knew each other, if perhaps they had a side bet, and Don Mattingly said to me, and I quote, "Listen, you can't talk to the guards at the Buckingham Palace, leave them alone."
We've been watching this now, and it continues even as the Cardinals have taken the field. I don't believe we'll start the game with this still going on.
Joe Kelly's got to back down first. He's further out there.
There's been some stuff going on. The Dodgers have put a batting helmet on Scott Van Slyke. Joe Kelly, that was a bluff. No,
you know, when a stare down, a blink even gets you out of the game.
Well, we are just about set to go, I think.
It's not fair, though. One's on the grass line and one's closer to the dugout.
Greg Gibson, the home plate umpire, motioning to both players. And the Dodgers celebrating in their dugout. Wow, what a bizarre start to Game 6. We talk about a lot of things in our production meetings going into this, but that wasn't on there.
We've got a standoff.
Another standoff.
How about this? What's happening now? We've had the anthem, and now players from both sides. We got big hat. Ramirez grabs the Parrot's hat.
Now, what if the Parrot gets thrown out here, Greg? Do you think he has to leave the entire stadium?
You know, I think Tommy Lasorda once had Yuppie thrown out. Montreal Expos old mascot when they were in Montreal, and Lasorda was the manager of the Dodgers. I think he got very angry at something that Yuppie was doing on the Dodger dugout, and he had him ejected. So yeah, he had to leave the ballpark. Yay, they win. Congrats to the Oakland A's. They win the standoff, and that's a big news item.
Listen, they can win that as long as they're not winning this game. That's all.
Check StatCast powered by Google Cloud. You'll see the Parrot gives up. Moreta and the umpire said, hey, you guys want to just get going here? We're going to play a ball game.
Epic standoff between Robbie Ray and Luke Weaver, reliever for the Royals. These two were teammates in Arizona in 2019. What do we think of Mike? A text?
Well, is it fair? Weaver out there right now, but he was just getting a massage from the hammer. One of his teammates came out trying to help him out, and Robbie has had no help at all.
No, this is shades of one of the great anthem standoffs of all time. It was Game 6 of the 2013 NLCS. Joe Kelly of the Cardinals, Scott Van Slyke of the Dodgers, and it was the home plate umpire who had to break it up for first pitch. Well, these two aren't going anywhere.
A couple of former teammates in Arizona.
Oh,
Marco, some help.
Yeah, Marco, yes, that's very important.
Sunblock, absolutely.
Safety first. Yeah, Luke is saying, where's my help?
Well, he just
I
had a massage out there.
But, you know, SPF's slow.
Will home plate umpire Adrian Johnson have to break it up?
He will. Oh, boy. Yes, he will. Oh, he's looking out towards Weaver. Is this in the umpire handbook? And now our third base umpire is telling both of these guys, you got to beat feet. And nobody wants to give in. They're not moving. They're not moving.
Marvin Hudson, the third base umpire, trying to make it happen. So we have a slight delay. Robbie has his sunscreen, so he's in good shape.
Robbie won!
Yes,
Robbie won! He won! A test of wills.
Alan Porter has totally lost control out there. We've got a standoff going on here with the Yankees and the Reds. The anthem standoff. Two guys from each side. Whoever blinks first.
So the umpire is going to have to break this up. That's third base umpire Jim Wolf, who can beat them up if he really wants to put them back into the...
This has got to be a record, right? Oh, and Graham Ashcraft wins the game before the game. Graham Ashcraft claims the standoff.
Hunter Brown on the mound for the Astros today. Always a good day. Hunter's facing the Twins for the second time this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's been so good, and the Astros have so much confidence when he's out there, and he's going to have to avoid a quintet of Astros pitchers and catchers when he goes out to the field, because there's an Anthem standoff going on. It's 1 versus 5. Louis Varland for the Twins against Cesar Salazar, Steven Okert, Brian King, Caleb Ort, and Sean Dubin for the Astros.
This has been strong. Minnesota Twins backing up their solo contestant out there. And here comes Hunter Brown right in front of everybody. That got Cesar Salazar off there. Varland refusing to move. Caleb Ort was the only one left. Then there were 2.
Quintet's down to a solo Caleb Ort, 1-on-1. The Astros were 5 strong for a while.
Somebody provided sustenance to Varland. Oh, there he goes. He's fired up. Twins winning the stand-up, but Hunter Brown is now on the bump for the Houston Astros.
Louis Varland hanging out in the bullpen after quite an intense start to his day. Before the game today, there was a big Anthem standoff. 5 Houston Astros to Louis Varland all alone, but he had some support from his teammates, getting a banana from Simeon Woods-Richardson. It was down to Caleb Ort. Laz Diaz says, no, we got to end this, giving the title to Louis Varland, who was incredibly pumped up.
We have an Anthem standoff. Ben Rortvedt is still out there for the Rays. Bowden Francis and Kevin Gausman, who cannot conceal his smirk as he is out there. The Anthems were over like 6 minutes ago, and these guys haven't moved yet. I just don't know how they decide who wins, like who buckles first. I think Rortvedt is saying, let's call it a draw. Let's call it a draw. Is Gausman going to go in on that? Gausman's not moving yet, Buck.
No, they stand out there a long time, and obviously 2 starting pitchers and a backup catcher. They're trying to have a face-off, and it seems like it's going to end at the first pitch, I would imagine.
They were out there almost 10 minutes after the Anthems ended. You can hear a little bit of cheering. That's the fans over the third base dugout who were kind of in on the joke. High fives all the way around for Gausman and Francis and Rortvedt.
Todd Frazier, he's still standing out there for the Anthem. What's he up to over there?
He's got a showdown going on with John Shelby right in front of the Brewers dugout. And the first one that gives up loses. So Frazier is right. He's on almost the playing surface. Shelby's in front of the dugout, not by very much. But it is a showdown to the last second. The umpire's going to call time in, get ready to go, and Clint Fagan's going to wonder who's going to give up first.
How about that?
I'll tell you what, both these guys veterans with a lot of resolve. Frazier gives it up, and his teammates are all over him.
You know, the problem with that was Todd was a little bit too far out. Shelby could have stood right there, and they may not have said anything to him. Todd was on the grass right by the coach's box. Some of the funny and weird, quirky things you see late in the season when your teams are playing for something other than a pennant.
Steve, this is the longest standoff of the season. This is live shot. It is still going as the White Sox take the field. It has been almost 10 minutes. Nobody has moved from this standoff. Frazier Ellard is leaning. And it's Ellard breaking, but Cam Boozer says, I'm not going. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. We are ready for first pitch, and the standoff is still going, and the Mariners have won.
Daniel Stumpf said, I am not leaving the field until all the Marlins go in the dugout for the standing of the national anthem. Sandy Alcantara says that is not happening. I'm going to stay out here as long as it takes, even if they have to put a helmet on my head. And that's exactly what Miami has done. They remain out there right now. Jack Morris, this is who's going to blink first. Curtis Granderson giving him the chest protector now.
Well, I'm wondering if maybe the umpires will tell them to walk off at the same time so nobody wins or loses.
Now the face mask from Curtis Granderson. He's protecting his teammate. I'm a little worried that the Tigers have not done the same to Daniel Stumpf. Maybe he's looking over his shoulder wondering, what's going on, man? How come you're not helping me? DJ Rayburn is trying to get Sandy Alcantara off the field, and he finally does, and now Daniel Stumpf feels like, I won. Let's hope you're saying that by night's end.
John, we've got an Anthem standoff going on.
Yeah. You know, eventually, though, I think they're going to have to go in the dugout, but who knows? They may change the rules before this happens.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how long it takes before Tom Hallion says, get off the field.
Well, the Fanatic tried to distract the Marlins player out there.
Aaron Nola's warming up out on the mound. He's ready to go in a few more pitches. Torreyes doesn't seem like he's at all nervous. We think it's Sierra. We can't tell because his sweatshirt is over his jersey. Aguilar is coming out as well, and Aguilar is saying that he has to stay out there. There's Tom Hallion. He's like, I don't have to deal with this. I got to check the gloves. I got to check the hands. I got to check the belts. I think the key is that Torreyes John covers his mouth. Aguilar is being a bodyguard of sorts because he's not playing tonight. He's got time on his hands.
Oh, Archie Bradley came out and
I thought he would put the homer hat on him.
Right, dabbed the sweat off of the brow of Torreyes. So yeah, it's all about people helping people, Tom.
That's exactly right. JT Realmuto is ready to go. So is Aaron Nola. Tom Hallion is looking, wondering. Chisholm's walking to the plate. Tom Hallion just said, what are these two guys doing? Oh, man. He just said, what are these two guys doing? And now Phil Cuzzy's going to step in front of the plate. All right, so the Marlins won. Torreyes walked off. Oh, man. I got to tell you, Tom Hallion asking Gene Segura, hey, what are these two guys doing?
Now look at this, Holly. We got a staring contest between Luis Cormier of the Mets on the right and Adam Conley on the left.
Yeah, it's an Anthem standoff. I love to see these. They're an awful lot of fun, but who's going to give in first? That's the question.
They went for, what would you say, 4 minutes?
Oh, at least 4 or 5 minutes, and right up until the team started to take the field, for crying out loud, and Cormier, I think, wins.
And he gets, look at this, Todd Frazier, a hug, he's high-fiving.
And an inspiring start to this series opener for the Dodgers against the Rockies. We have a standoff, EK. Landon Knack on your left, Kyle Freeland on your right. The Anthem finished moments ago. Right now the lineup cards are being exchanged by good friends Dave Roberts and Buddy Black, but no one is moving between these two. Connor McGinnis, the assistant pitching coach, is inspiring Land.
We have a standoff going on right now. Post national anthem between Manny Pena and Hernan Iribarren. Sometimes players do this to poke fun at each other, and it appears that the Reds have won. After the umpires yelled at Manny Pena, the Cincinnati Reds have won the national anthem standoff. That was quite impressive. They stood there for about 13 minutes. Dan Straley's ready to go. His first pitch is in there for a strike, and away we go.
I'm speechless. I mean, I can't believe we lost that one.
Elias Diaz of the Pirates and Orlando Arcia of the Brewers have decided to see who has the greatest fortitude and can stand there the longest.
Do the fans even know what's going on?
Arcia's got an umbrella. That's pretty funny. I give him credit.
This guy's got an iPad. Who would you rather have? Look at him. Oh, the whole team's under the umbrella.
I would keep an eye on Joe West. He's going to be the guy who ends this nonsense.
And he's going to tell the Pirate guy to sit down.
Let's see who breaks first.
We win.
Every once in a while, Major League Baseball players will get themselves involved into a post-national anthem stare-down. Today, it's Pete Alonso, who is standing along the left field line, and Zach Agnos, who is standing in front of the Rockies dugout. And Pete, as he's been doing regularly, wins the battle. Another victory for Alonso.
Prior to the start of the ball game, after the national anthem was performed and the color guard walked off the field, a little bit of a challenge thrown down. That's Boone Logan off to the right for the Colorado Rockies, and an assortment of Phillies who left Sean O'Sullivan
to see who could stay out there long enough with their hand over their heart. Freddie Galvis came out to help Sean O'Sullivan make sure he stays hydrated. It's a tough job to stand there and wait out the opposing team. Justin DeFreitas toweled him off. Justin and Jake had to leave because they had to go to the bullpen. And they both said at the same time, we think, that they would walk away. And there we go. I don't know, Sean may have stayed out there for an extra half second. There was a lot of laughter, a lot of clapping from both dugouts.
Guys, the entire team needed to get that done yesterday, but taking that tight game must be a lot of confidence for them moving forward. But how about the battle we have going on right here? It's not over, is it?
I don't think this battle's ever going to be over. I don't know, can those guys stay out there during the course of the ball game? Thanks, Julia. Yeah, it's a good one going on. By the way, the Astros are 6-3 in 2-run games, so when it's been close, the Astros have kind of had it their way so far this year. Had a nice win for the team yesterday, and again, Blummer, I get the sense with this team there's a need to prove themselves quite a bit, and a split here in Detroit would be very nice.
No, I agree. There's a lot to prove in that Astros dugout, but we see that they're leading the league in 1-run wins. Last year they were last in the league in 1-run wins. And I think a lot of that has to do with what Julia was talking about with that bullpen, and the Astros knew they had to address that. They did a great job of it. But I'm taking the Astros in the standoff. They're just a younger group of guys, a little more sturdy. Guys on the Detroit side, I know they're in their home ballpark. It could be an issue.
What do you think? Colby Rasmus standing out there. We've got Tony Sipp, Josh Fields. Fields is ready to walk off. In fact, I think he's calling it a day. So apparently the Tigers are going to win this portion of the competition today.
It's disappointing. Bob Davidson is throwing them both off the field, which is, I'm not sure if that's his role.
Apparently no balks have been called in the process.
We got ourselves a good old-fashioned standoff going on right here between Barnes and Barrett. If you remember in the NLCS last year with Joe Kelly and Scott Van Slyke, they did it, but right now before the ball game, teammates helping Barrett out. Rick Shue giving him some water. Gio Gonzalez fanning him down. Barnes has gotten sunscreen and a lot of support from his teammates, and they are not budging. They've been out there for a good 5-6 minutes.
At
Easy.
least. Yeah. Love it.
Tony Tarasco is giving Barrett a pump-me-up talk about how you can do this. Getting in his face, being motivational before the game, and as the Rockies take the field, neither one is budged. And this could be interesting, and I think that Paul Emmel, home plate umpire, might have to get involved.
He might have to toss both of them, if not out of the game, at least off the playing surface.
You know, you're standing out there in the sun, it's a hot day. You could probably use a little sunscreen, right? Jerry Blevins coming out, providing the sunscreen for Aaron Barrett.
All right, it's about time for the home plate umpire to take charge here. I mean, our guy is at least up against the rail. You can't have somebody standing on the warning track over there in foul territory.
I've absolutely lost it.
Jorge De La Rosa has taken the mound. Denard Span steps in.
And nobody said a word to either one of them. There's no way they can let him stand there, can they? I mean, Barnes is on the field.
Yeah. Now Denard Span steps out. First base umpire Jordan Baker just whistled at Brandon Barnes and told him to get off the field.
Oh, this is going to be everywhere on every highlight reel all night long. And Barrett wins.
The Bear in Colorado, why shouldn't he win? He's close to the mountains.
Oh, and that's how this one starts.